Still no win in August, which is a little bit irritating, but there you go. We're off the mark now at long freaking last. We've got a point from the Southampton game. In some context, it should have been all three, really, considering we took the lead very late on. I didn't watch the game. I was actually out going to the Newcastle match. Sorry for me sins, but on the way I was listening to the match, and I think I watched the match of the day highlights later on in the evening. And I saw our penalty, which I thought was a penalty. I thought Jose Font clearly was trying to move Defoe out of the way and he clearly catches him as he's pushing him down. So yeah, for me that is a penalty. But oh my God, I've said on Twitter in previous videos, and I'll have a link to my Twitter in the description below. But I said it on Twitter that I actually do rate Jay Rodriguez quite highly, and that's not just the reason why. He's quick, he's fast, he's got energy, he's a work rate, knows where the back of the net is. You know, he's had a torrid injury, but typically that's his first goal for over 2 years. And who does it come against? Of course, it's Sunderland. Oh, it's so annoying when that happens. But honestly, but still, having said that, you know, I mean, I would have took that before the game. I'm a little bit annoyed 2 seasons in a row at Southampton to have gone in front and not won. But at the very least, it's a point, and we're out the bottom 3, so that's cause for celebration, isn't it? But from what I heard, Sunderland played generally quite well. I thought we had some decent chances, and apparently from what I heard, Kone and Dilaborgi had a decent partnership at the back yesterday, so if you can somehow mould them into a centre-back partnership, as long as we keep Kone, you better bloody keep Kone, Sunderland, you know, then there's the potential for us to do well this year. I think I said it was vital we got something yesterday, though, even if it was just a point. Just get something, get off the mark, and then it lifts the mood a little bit on our side, and thankfully we did get a draw. So I think that certainly makes it a bit better for Sunderland fans, doesn't it? Finally, we're no longer on 0 points, we're on 1. We should have been on 3, really, but at the very least, we're off the mark. But I said if we can get through that game, and then just get through the remainder of the transfer window and see what happens. Now, obviously, there's a few things I'll talk about here. There's a few players that have obviously been linked. Envia's linked. Vincente Iborra, I know I pronounced that wrong, so correct me in the comments below if you think I pronounced it wrong in the large event that I have. And then obviously Joe Hart's linked with, coincidence, with Vito Minoni being out for 3 months. I'll start with the first two. Vincente Iborra. Now I haven't got a clue what he's like, I haven't seen him play, I don't know how good he is. All I've heard is that apparently he's meant to be a better version of Marouane Fellaini, which kind of begs the... So if that's the case, you can understand why Moyes has gone for him, because he likes that type of big, powerful, annoying, aggressive midfielder. Not annoying for your team, obviously, but annoying to play against. And apparently there's a fee of 7 or 8 million euros, whatever the fee's quoted these days, has been accepted by Sevilla. But obviously that there's still a bit if he's around that one, whether actually Iborra would want to join Sunderland. Well, we need a centre midfielder. If he gets one, then if that's him, then fair enough. Yann Villa is obviously an interesting one. Personally, I think if we get Iborra, I think we'll probably wait until January for Villa. And if we do get Iborra, plus with Kirchhoff and Catamol coming back in the next month or so, I don't have a problem with waiting for Villa until January. I'd prefer to have him now, because I think we could do with him now. But I don't have a drastic problem with waiting that long to actually have him at the club, especially if he's on a free transfer, especially with the probably shoestring budget that we're on. There's that one, and then there's Joe Hart, which is the most interesting one. I don't know. If we sign Joe Hart, I'll be absolutely astonished. It is ridiculous, because why would Joe Hart want to come to Sunderland? Now, don't get me wrong. Well, really, in my opinion, there shouldn't be any reason for him not to come to Sunderland, because we should be a good club. But in the here and now, why would he come to a club that's likely going to struggle down the bottom end of the table? You know, but at the same time, now apparently his wages are 120,000, and Man City are prepared to pay something like 90,000. Don't know how reliable the Daily Mirror is, though, so I wouldn't take too much into that. But if they are prepared to do that, and then we only have to pay we have to pay a £7 million loan fee, which I suppose is the pretty big stumbling block as far as that's concerned. But then you've got 30,000 in wages a week potentially. I'd have him. I don't know how. I mean, people are judging him off his Euro 2016 performance, where he was pretty poor, but that doesn't mean he's not a good keeper, though. I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper. So, but if we don't get him, I would be a little bit annoyed. But at the same time, Pickford probably is ready, and apparently he made some very good saves yesterday, by the way. So I think certainly Mark Schwarzer, who's available. I think Mark Schwarzer's available on a free. So to me, that makes more sense. Certainly for our budget wise, if you sign him, say, on a 1-year deal, and you get him as a backup goalkeeper to Jordan Pickford. So look, we'll have to see. But it was important to get through the game, the Southampton match, and just get something. Because if we'd had a third defeat in a row, I don't know how on earth we would have reacted to that. We couldn't afford a third straight defeat. The good positive as well is that yesterday that was by far the best team we were able to field since the start of the season. Because you look at Man City obviously we weren't expected to get anything anyway. We were very nearly getting a point with a couple of youngsters and reserve players. Middlesbrough, whoop-de-doo, beat our reserve team. You know, that half of that was like reserve players and kids out. So it wasn't our first team. And yesterday was by far the best team we were able to field. So I think there's definitely promise there. I think if we can add a couple of additions and get ourselves on the right track and then get some of the injured players back, then we're in a better position. So people saying that we are crap just because we lost to Middlesbrough, judge us when our best players are back and when we've got new signings in. That's when you can judge us, because we're not a bad side. You know, I'm convinced we're not a bad side. Anyway, I'll quickly mention the Newcastle game since I was there yesterday. They beat Brighton 2-0. Unfortunately, I really wanted them to get beat because I don't want them to come up, but there's still plenty of time in the season for that, I suppose. But at the same time, Newcastle did deserve the win. I certainly think that Brighton tested them a bit up until they went down to 10 men, but from then on the game was over. And John Joe Shelby Lord Shelby Mort, or Voldemort, scored a peach of a free kick, so in fairness. And I go with a friend, sort of as his carer, so to speak. I'm not going to say too much about that, but every time I go with him, they seem to bloody win, which is really annoying. But anyway, let's see what happens. Anyway, so pretty much on Wednesday, apart from a couple of other things that I'll be doing, probably be plonking my backside on my arse on the sofa and keeping an eye on transfer deadline day. Oh, Jim White with his lovely tie, eh? Alright then, guys, I love yous and leave yous there. Like, comment, subscribe if you wish to. Thanks again for watching the video. And finally, we're off the mark. At least we're not on 0 points anymore, though we still haven't won in August. See ya.